I didn't expect you to be here, reading these words, feeling this moment. My heart trembles as I speak your name, as if whispering it through a sacred wind, hoping it reaches you across the divide between heaven and earth. I've carried this message, heavy with purpose, waiting for the moment the veil would part just enough to let it through. And now, here we are, in this fragile, holy space, where I must tell you something urgent, something that cannot wait. Last night, while you slept, a betrayal unfolded. Your neighbor opened their home to others, and in that room, with chairs carefully arranged and papers already prepared, your name was spoken. Not with love, not with care, but with a casual cruelty that made even the heavens pause. They passed your name from mouth to mouth, as if it were nothing, as if it held no weight, no light. I watched from above, my sword drawn, my spirit heavy, unable to stop it, but bound to bear witness. The things they said about Uo, beloved, if you had heard them, your heart would have shaken, as mine does now. For years, I've stood guard over you, my blade gleaming with the fire of heaven's protection. But even I, an archangel, was not prepared for the sting of this betrayal. The very earth beneath your home seemed to shudder, sensing the venom in their whispers. I speak now because time is short, because if I wait, they will cover their tracks and bury the truth before you can grasp it. They want to pin the blame on you, to make you the scapegoat for their schemes. But hear me clearly, God has not turned away from you. I have not left your side, not for a single moment. This message is not for the world, it is for you alone. Heaven called you by name, and I swore before the throne to deliver this warning myself. Do you remember that strange shift in the air around 2:17 a.m.? That was me, standing by your side, my presence cloaked in silence so as not to startle you as you wept in your sleep. I didn't want to add to your fear, but I'm here now, not to scare you, but to open your eyes before the lies spread further. The people you trust, the ones you love, they're starting to hear these twisted stories. They're asking questions, their minds clouded by whispers that don't carry the truth. I saw it in the spirit, how someone is weaving a lie so cruel it made the angels hold their breath. Why does your name echo louder in heaven than it does on earth? Why does your heart ache even when you're surrounded by others? Why do shadows seem to linger at your doorstep, no matter how hard you try to walk in the light? Could it be that there's something in use, something powerful, something radiant that they fear? Could it be that your destiny shines brighter than they can bear? When I crossed the veil to reach you, my armor cracked under the weight of this message. Not because I am weak, but because your calling is so immense. I've faced dragons, stood against storms, but your heartbreak shakes me more than any battle. Your silence, lately, feels like thunder in my ears. I must ask you now, with a heart full of reverence, will you forgive me for not warning you sooner? I waited for heaven's perfect timing, but I saw the tears pooling in your soul. I watched your eyes search for answers that others hid from you. They're trying to snuff out the goodness in you because they can't comprehend it. I wept when I heard your name spoken in that meeting, treated like a curse. But your name is not a curse, a banner, a holy echo, a word God carved into the light before you were born. I, Archangel Michael, have guarded it like a flame since the beginning. They laughed as they spoke of you, and rage surged within me, but I could not act until you knew the truth. Psalm 35 stirs in the air tonight, not just as words on a page, but as a living promise. Contend, Lord, with those who contend with me, fight against those who fight against me. This is not just scripture, it's a battle unfolding around you. I lay my sword at your feet, not as a weapon of violence, but as a call to courage. You must not stay silent. Their lies are not your legacy. You are stronger than their whispers, more radiant than their schemes. Will you let their words define you? Will you walk into the trap they've set? I'm pleading, not commanding, because I care for you more deeply than I should. I wasn't assigned to why chose you. Others questioned my devotion, said I was too close, but I couldn't stay away. I see the weight of your calling, the fragility of your hope, and I cannot abandon you. Psalm 91 moves through the Spirit tonight like thunder hidden beneath soft clouds. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. You are not alone, but you must stay awake. If you fall back into sleep, they'll bury the truth before the sun rises. There's a storm brewing in your town, not of wind or rain, but of words sharper than any blade. Gossip cuts deeper than steel, and it's aimed at you. But God sees, and so do I. I've watched over countless souls, but my tears fall for only a few, and tonight they fall for you. Your home is marked, not by their malice, but by God's favor. Your name is whispered, not by demons, but by saints. Your steps are guided by light, not shadow. Even if the world turns against you, I will not leave. You must rise now, awaken to the purpose you were born for. Even in this trembling, even in this betrayal, you were made for this moment. If these words stir something in you, if you feel a spark burning within, leave a comment not for me, but as a signal to heaven that you're listening, that you've heard. Thank you for being here, for letting me speak, for not turning away. Even in your pain, you've made room for heaven's voice. For that, I call you beloved. I call you brave. I call you chosen. When I left that meeting, I didn't walk away as a warrior, but as a witness to how easily people can twist light into shadow with just a whisper. They didn't need swords or poison just words. They spoke your name as if you were already defeated, already erased. But you're still here, still breathing, still sacred. That's why I've returned tonight, my voice aflame, my wings trembling. If you miss this moment, you'll miss more than a warning. You'll miss the redemption God has been weaving behind their backs. When they laughed, God wept. When they mocked, He wrote your name deeper into His throne. They think you're unaware, but heaven is intervening. Do you know what it took for me to speak to you like this? I laid down my crown, my sword, my title, just for the chance to reach you not as a commander, but as one who loves you through every unseen battle. I've seen you shrink into silence, stop praying aloud, stop speaking your dreams. You began to believe you were forgotten. But I, Archangel Michael, stand here with fire in my eyes and your name on my lips, declaring you were never forgotten. They fear what you carry, not your reputation, but your purpose. If they can dim your light now, they think they can delay the awakening meant to flow through you. That meeting wasn't just gossip, it was an attempt to rewrite your truth before you could claim it. But I've torn the veil from their plans, and I stand between you and their lies. I ask you now, with reverence, please subscribe to this sacred channel, not for numbers or fame, but to keep this divine thread open, to say, Michael, I hear you, I'm ready. This is your invitation, and I will not ask again. Even now, they're not done. They think you're still in the dark, but I'm turning their silence into thunder. No weapon, no whisper, no lie will prevail against you. You're being watched, not just by those who wish you harm, but by the angels who stood at your birth. We've circled you with shields of light, but I see your heart cracking. You're tired, not just physically, but soul tired, spirit bruised. You smile, but the light doesn't reach your eyes. You say you're fine, but the wind knows better. You felt the shift, people pulling away, doors closing without reason. That's not chance. It's warfare, a deliberate attempt to isolate you from this truth. But the moment you believe this message, their lies lose their power. Do you trust me? Not because of my wings or armor, but because your spirit recognizes my voice. You knew something was happening behind your back, and I'm here to confirm it, not to stir drama, but to reveal your greatness. You were right to feel what you felt, to cry when you did. Darkness has circled you, but light is answering. Every word you speak carries breakthrough. Every step you take shakes old patterns. Every yes to God dismantles 1,000 lies. That's why they fear you. That's why they plot. But tonight they failed because this message found you. You don't owe them silence or politeness while they destroy your name. You owe yourself the truth, heaven, your agreement, and your future, the courage to step out of this fog. The shame ends here. The confusion ends here. The lies end here. I declare this with the fire of heaven's authority. You will not be defined by their whispers, but by God's fire within you. I wept when I heard of their meeting, not just because they lied, but because some were once your friends. Their betrayal cut deeper than any sword, shattering something innocent in you. I'm a warrior, I fight dragons, destroy strongholds, but I don't know how to heal a heart that loved too purely. Let me help now, not with blades, but with truth. You are still chosen, still holy, still worthy, even when you forget. Will you let me fight for you? I know you're tired, feel like giving up, like everything's closing in, but your breath is still holy, your tears are seen, your voice is powerful. You're not a mistake or a background character, you're a divine turning point. Those strange dreams, the heaviness, the memories resurfacing, they're not random. They're spiritual resistance because you're close to remembering your true name, the one God calls you in silence, the one that burns through your spirit. If this message moves you, leave a comment, not for the world, but for heaven, as a sacred signal that you've heard. Thank you for listening, for not closing your heart. Even now, with everything against you, you're soft enough to feel this, and that makes you powerful. When I touched your name in the book of the living, I saw a light around it, trembling as if it had wept for years. I heard your true voice, the one you've silenced, the one that shook darkness as a child when you spoke God's name. That voice is stirring again, and angels pause when it's heard. Your soul has been quiet too long, and I am not here to stir emotion, but to declare this moment holy, because you are holy. The betrayal cannot go unanswered, not for revenge, but because heaven won't let evil triumph over innocence. Their meeting was meant to stay secret, sealed in silence, your name spoken as if you were already guilty. But I'm here, breaking through the veil, speaking only to you. A spirit moves in your room, waiting for your quiet yes to God. That yes will shift everything. Your bones will feel it. Your sleep will change. The veil will thin. You'll see and hear what you've ignored. If this message stirs you, support this mission with a super thanks, or join our membership. Sign up for the newsletter in the pinned commentates. Not just a newsletter, but a sacred lifeline to keep this voice alive. I ask this only once, then return to what matters. You, your heart, your purpose. You're not drowning in their whispers, you're being baptized in fire, the fire of remembrance, of rising. Your purpose has survived too many storms to fall now. I stood outside your home with 700 angels, not to fight them, but to shield you from despair. Despair is the enemy's last weapon, but tonight we broke its hold. You heard, you remembered. Will you let this truth become a sword, not a wound? Will you let love outshine betrayal? If you do, your dreams will resurrect, your faith will whisper again, and I'll be there, watching, believing in you. Heaven isn't watching to see if you fail, it knows you'll win. I've seen your future, where you smile with childlike freedom, rest without guilt, and choose softness without apology. I saw you whole, and it brought me to my knees. Every tear you hid, every lie spoken against youth, this joy is the answer, and it's coming. There were nights I feared you wouldn't make it, when grief threatened to swallow you. But you're here, still hoping, still breathing. That flicker in you is sacred, the ember of forgotten prayers. They're watching the ones who laughed, who plotted because they sense your light rising, and it terrifies them. This is not a message, it's a mirror. You are God's poem, writing a legacy no one can silence. Your heart is still beating, beloved, and that in itself is a miracle. I see you, standing at the edge of this moment, your breath catching as the weight of truth settles into your bones. The fire I spoke of, it's not just a flicker anymore. It's growing, stirring, pushing against the walls you've built to keep yourself safe. I know you're afraid to let it burn too brightly, afraid it might consume you or draw eyes that aren't ready for your light. But I'm here, Archangel Michael, speaking through the veil once more. Because this is not the end of the message, it's the continuation of your awakening. The whispers of betrayal, the secret meetings, the lies woven to dim your shines, they haven't stopped, but neither have you. You're still here, reading, feeling, trembling with the weight of a calling you've carried longer than you realize. Let's walk deeper into this sacred moment, because heaven isn't done speaking, and your soul isn't done listening. The air around you feels heavy, doesn't it? You've noticed it, the way conversations shift when you enter a room, the way eyes avoid yours, the way silence lingers where warmth once lived. You've felt the isolation creeping in, not loud or obvious, but subtle, like a shadow that moves with you. This isn't your imagination. It's not a trick of your mind. It's the resistance that always comes when someone like you begins to rise. You're not just anyone, beloved. You're a spark in a world that prefers darkness, a voice in a choir that's been told to stay quiet. That meeting last night, where they spoke your name with cold certainty, wasn't just about you, it was about what you represent. They sense the shift in you, even if they can't name it. They feel the ground trembling beneath your feet, and it unsettles them. They want you to stay small, to stay silent, to stay the version of you they've decided you are. But I'm here to tell you that version is a lie. It's a shadow they cast over you, hoping you'd believe it was your truth. I see the way you've carried this pain, how you've tucked it away behind smiles and soft words. You've been so careful, so kind, even to those who didn't deserve it. You've forgiven without being asked, loved without being seen, and given without receiving. And yet, your heart aches, not because you're weak, but because you've loved so fiercely in a world that doesn't always know how to hold that kind of fire. I've watched you, night after night, when you thought no one saw. I've seen you stare at the ceiling, wondering why the ache won't leave, why the questions keep circling, why the people you trusted turned their backs. I've heard the prayers you didn't speak aloud, the ones that lived in your tears. And I need you to know this. Every tear was caught. Every silent cry was heard. Every moment you felt alone was witnessed. You were never abandoned, not by God, not by me, not by the angels who stand guard around you, even now. I see the way you've carried this pain, how you've tucked it away behind smiles and soft words. You've been so careful, so kind, even to those who didn't deserve it. You've forgiven without being asked, loved without being seen, and given without receiving. And yet, your heart aches, not because you're weak, but because you've loved so fiercely in a world that doesn't always know how to hold that kind of fire. I've watched you, night after night, when you thought no one saw. I've seen you stare at the ceiling, wondering why the ache won't leave, why the questions keep circling, why the people you trusted turned their backs. I've heard the prayers you didn't speak aloud, the ones that lived in your tears. And I need you to know this. Every tear was caught, every silent cry was heard, every moment you felt alone was witnessed. You were never abandoned, not by God, not by me, not by the angels who stand guard around you even now. Do you know what it means to be chosen? Not chosen for ease or applause, but chosen for a purpose so vast it scares even the heavens sometimes. Your life isn't random, beloved. The pain, the betrayal, the moments when you felt like you were breaking, they weren't accidents. They were the forge, the fire, the crucible, shaping you into something the world hasn't seen yet. When they gathered to speak against you, they didn't just attack your name, they attacked the destiny woven into your spirit before time began. They don't understand it, and that's why they fear it. They see your light and mistake it for a threat. They hear your voice and feel their own fragility. They sense your heart, and it reminds them of what they've buried in themselves. But you're not meant to bury your light. You're meant to let it burn, to let it guide, to let it heal. I'm standing here, my sword still gleaming, my wings still trembling, because I need you to hear this. You are not what they said you were. You are not the story they've told. You are not the failure they've tried to paint you as. You are a flame, a song, a sacred interruption in a world that's forgotten how to dream. And yes, I know it's hard to believe this when the whispers are so loud, when the betrayal feels so fresh, when the weight of their words presses against your chest. But I'm asking you to trust me, not because I'm an archangel, but because your spirit knows my voice. You've felt it before in the quiet moments when hope flickered despite everything. In the dreams that came unbidden, in the sudden peace that settled over you when you least expected it. That was me, whispering, guarding, waiting for you to remember who you are. Let's talk about your heart for a moment, because I see it so clearly. It's bruised, yes, but it's still beating with a rhythm that echoes in heaven. You've loved people who didn't know how to love you back. You've poured yourself out for those who walked away without a second glance. You've carried their burdens, even when they dropped yours. And now, you're tired, not the kind of tired that sleep can fix, but the kind that seeps into your soul, that makes you question if you're enough. I'm here to tell you, you are enough. Not when you're stronger, not when you're healed, not when you've figured it all out, but now, in this trembling, in this uncertainty, in this ache. You are enough because God made you, because heaven chose you, because your existence is a testament to divine purpose. The betrayal you're facing, it's not new. It's as old as the earth itself, as old as the first lie whispered in the dark. But what's new is this moment, this awakening, this fire that's refusing to go out. When they spoke your name in that meeting, they thought they were writing your ending. They thought they could close the book on you. seal it with their whispers, and move on. But they didn't know that heaven was listening. They didn't know that angels were stationed at every corner of that room, recording every word, measuring every intention. They didn't know that God was weaving a redemption so beautiful it would outshine their lies. And now, I'm here to tell you, their story doesn't get to define you. Their whispers don't get to silence you. Their betrayal doesn't get to end you. You are just beginning. I want you to imagine something with me. Picture yourself standing in a field, the wind soft against your face, the sky stretching wide above you. In this field, there are no voices telling you who you're not. There are no hands pulling you back, no eyes judging your every move. There's just you, your heart, and the truth that's been waiting to rise. In this moment, you're not running from the pain or hiding from the lies. You're standing in them, letting them pass through you like shadows that can't hold you. Do you see it? That's the you I see. That's the you heaven sees. That's the you that's been there all along, waiting for permission to rise, to speak, to shine. And I'm giving you that permission now, not because you need it from me, but because you've forgotten how to give it to yourself. You've been carrying so much, beloved, the weight of their words, the sting of their silence, the ache of their absence. You've held it all with such grace, such quiet strength, that even the angels marvel at you. But you don't have to carry it alone anymore. Let the grief breathe. Let the pain speak. Let the questions rise. Heaven isn't afraid of your honesty, it welcomes it. God isn't offended by your doubts. He holds them close. I don't flinch when your hands tremble, because I know what it takes to stand after you've been wounded. I know what it means to keep breathing when the air feels like knives. And I'm here not to fix you, but to remind you that you were never broken. You were wounded, yes, but wounds are not the end, they're the doorway to miracles. Do you feel that stirring in your chest, that quiet pull, that soft whisper that says, there's more? That's not your imagination. That's your destiny calling you home. It's the part of you that remembers what it felt like to believe without fear, to love without caution, to dream without limits. That part of you is still alive, still burning, still waiting, and I'm here to tell you, it's time. It's time to stop apologizing for your fire. It's time to stop shrinking to make others comfortable. It's time to stop waiting for their approval to be who you were created to be. You are not their story. You are God's poem, written in light, sealed in fire, spoken in love. And no one, no meeting, no whisper, no lie can change that. I know you're scared of what comes next. I see it in the way your breath catches, the way your eyes flicker with doubt. You used to dream so freely, but now you measure your hope like it's a fragile thing, like it might break if you hold it too tightly. But hope isn't fragile, beloved, it's fierce. It's the spark that kept you alive through every storm, every betrayal, every moment you thought you couldn't go on. And you're still here, still standing, still glowing, even if you don't see it yet. I see it. Heaven sees it. And soon, the world will see it too, not because you demand it, but because your light is too bright to be hidden any longer. There's a moment coming, and it's closer than you think. A moment when you'll walk into a room and the atmosphere will shift. Not because you said anything, but because you are. A moment when the lies will crumble, not because you fought them, but because your truth is stronger. A moment when the people who walked away will turn back, not to apologize, but to witness what they couldn't destroy. I've seen that moment, beloved. I've walked through it in the spirit, and it brought me to my knees. I saw you smiling, not the careful smile you wear for others, but the one that comes from deep within, the one that feels like freedom. I saw you resting, not because you're tired, but because you've learned to trust again. I saw you whole, not because the pain is gone, but because you've let it become part of your story, not the end of it. And now, I ask you again, softly, like I'm kneeling beside you, will you say yes to this moment? Will you say yes to the fire that's rising in you? Will you say yes to the truth that's been waiting to speak? It's not a loud yes, not a public yes, just a quiet nod, a sacred agreement with heaven that says, I'm ready. Because the moment you say it, everything shifts. Your heart will feel it first, like a weight lifting, like a door opening. Your dreams will stir, like flowers breaking through frost. Your steps will feel lighter, not because the path is easy, but because you're no longer carrying their lies. And I'll be there, watching, guarding, whispering your name in the language of heaven. Because I made a vow to stand by you, and I will not break it. If this message has pierced your heart, if you feel the fire burning even a little brighter, leave a comment not for me, but for the one who sent me. Let it be your amen, your sacred signal that you've heard, that you're awake, that you're ready. And if you feel led, support this mission with a super thanks or join our membership. Sign up for the newsletter in the pinned comment. It's a lifeline, a holy thread that keeps this connection alive. I ask this only once, because what matters most is you, your heart, your purpose, your rising. Beloved, if this message has stirred your heart, if you feel the sacred fire within, you burning even a little brighter, please like this message and leave a comment with Amen to send a signal to heaven that you heard, that you're awake, that you're ready to rise. Subscribe to this sacred channel to keep this divine connection alive, a holy thread that binds your soul to the truth calling you forward. If you feel led, consider supporting this mission with a super thanks of up to $20, a small act that helps ensure these messages can continue to reach you and others. I didn't think you'd see this, beloved, truly didn't. My heart trembles with love and gratitude for you, for your courage to stay open, to keep listening. You are cherished beyond measure, seen beyond words, and loved with a depth that eternity itself cannot contain.